Hello and welcome to Ryno's Orioles Report. The series with the Houston Astros did not go well for the Baltimore Orioles. And I mean this past series. The one at Camden Yards. Orioles were able to avoid the sweep as they so often do. Lost the first two games and then won the day game. So you can see them on MASNsports.com. So let's take a look at this first game. Astros 7, Orioles 6. You can see the Orioles scored their 6 runs in the 4th inning and earlier. The Astros did get 2 in the 3rd, but 1 in the 8th and 4 in the 9th. That's not good. That's bad. That's bad. All these fancy lights and all this other bullshit. Felix Bautista blows it. Maybe instead of worrying about how often the lights flicker and what your entrance music is, and yes, they changed it, maybe concentrate on pitching. Worried about your entrance music, but you're barely getting the job done. And in this case, you didn't get the job done. So, focus on being accurate, throwing strikes. Your fastball is 100 miles an hour. If you throw it 3 feet off the plate, probably not going to get swung at. But that's okay. I said he wasn't really ready for this. It's fairly true because he's young. He's young. He hasn't had a lot of experience. With more experience, you think somebody will learn for this and therefore be better in the future. So this may be okay. Get things like this out of the way during the season so that you have that experience going into the postseason. Hopefully. Rutschman led off and DH'd. 1 for 3, 2 RBIs, 1 run scored, also a walk. Mountcastle in the 2-hole. Lefty on the mound, so Mountcastle further up in the lineup and Henderson a little further down. Mountcastle 1 for 4, drove in 2. Santander didn't get a hit in this one. He did walk. Hayes also didn't get a hit in this one. Henderson did go 1 for 4. Westberg did go 2 for 4. Rios 1 hit. As you can see, Brandon Hyde does use his bench players fairly regularly within a game. Defensive replacement late in the game. McKenna out there in right field. Frazier pinch hitting for Rios. Not that I really think you're gaining too much there. Yes, Frazier has had some big hits for us, but so has Arias, and not sure you're really gaining that much with Frazier being a lefty and Arias being a righty. I just don't think there's too much to be gained there. McCann played most of this game. Looks like he got pinch hit for very late in the game. Might have been the 9th inning, actually. 1 for 2, 2 RBIs. Now, again, I understand what Brandon Hyde is doing. Oh, there's a righty on the mound. I want a lefty to hit. Well, the problem is, and yes, some of these guys do come through. If you've been sitting on the bench the whole game, you really think that O'Hearn is more likely to get a hit here than McCann? It's debatable. McCann is the catcher, so he's probably more worn out than anybody else. Probably not the case between Frazier and Arias because Arias is more, what's the word I'm looking for? He probably isn't tired, but he's warm. He's loosened up. Frazier coming off the bench cold. Teo got to start center field, went 1 for 3. He's done pretty good out there in center field. We have seen him make some good catches. We also saw him take a somewhat of a bad route to the ball and not quite get to it, but again, it's what I said about Bautista. Experience counts for a lot. Westberg got a double, Urias triple, Mountcastle Rutschman home run. You like to see that the offense was there. Wasn't there late. Houston does have a very good bullpen. Grayson Rodriguez got the start in this one. 6 innings pitched, gave up 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, struck out 4. It's a good performance, I think, especially from your youngest starting pitcher. You want to see more performances like this. That's 2 runs, that's it. That's awesome. Only walk 2. You're going to walk some guys against the Houston lineup. They are a very patient team. They're also going to get their hits. I mean, they've been going to the World Series for a lot, the past few years. How exactly did they get there? That's debatable, but they do have talented players. Baumann pitches 1 inning in relief. The 7th inning, didn't give up a hit, but did give up a run and a walk. Only struck out 1. They kind of imploded on themselves late in this game. They really did. Cano took the 8th inning. Had a clean 8th inning. 1 inning pitched, gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, struck out 1. But, when one starts to right themselves, the other has a meltdown. Felix Bautista, with all the lights flashing, 2/3 of an inning, gives up 3 hits, 4 runs, walks 1. Strike out 2. It's like he's a left-handed power hitter. He's either going to walk somebody, they're going to strike out, or they're going to hit a home run. Yes, this was a home run. This was a grand slam. So, yeah. Crable came in to stop the bleeding. Only needed 1 out at this point. It's not too much to say about it, Felix Bautista. He's not that accurate with his fastball. He can be. Part of the reason is he's so tall, his pitches tend to be elevated in the zone. Well, one, elevated in the zone, or elevated out of the zone. Like a foot or 2 above the strike zone. It can get some hitters out. Yes, you can get some hitters out with that. But you can't consistently get outs without giving up some runs if your fastball is going to be 2 feet above the strike zone. So, I'm going to have to figure out a way to get Bautista to lower his sight or whatever he uses to aim his pitches. Yeah, he's great at throwing fastballs around letter high. Got to get him to do it around knee high with greater accuracy. All right, moving on. This one, as you can see, Astros 8, Orioles 2. It was relatively close for a while. You see, Astros got their 3 runs in the first and the second inning. Orioles put 2 on the board. Austin Hayes home run in the 4th inning. And then the 8th inning came around and I don't know. Either pitchers stopped throwing strikes or umpires stopped calling strikes. There were several plays, usually calls at first base, very close plays. Like even when you slowed down on the replay and you really watched, like it's really hard to see what the call was. You got three choices. Runner beats the throw beats the runner, or a tie. Now, it is hard, but think about this. Runner beats the throw, or a tie, and the runner is safe. The only way for it to be called an out is if the throw beats the runner. On a lot of those, I want to say at least 3, maybe 4 plays were challenged on the play at first base. Ground ball, throw to first base to get the runner. I feel like on at least 3 of them really looked like a tie to me. And you can tell it was really close because when the umpires come back on the mic after the challenge, and they say the call stands. It means the call stands. They didn't confirm the call, which means they don't even have enough evidence to confirm the call. So therefore, how do you not call the runner safe? You're looking at this as an umpire. If it's that close, how are you not calling these runners safe? I don't know. Because if it's the same time, safe. We're calling it. Having lots of problems with umpires. Apparently, cheating is okay, but not spending money is not. However, don't give the Orioles calls because they don't spend no money, but give the calls to the Astros even though they cheated. Okay, that makes sense. Rutschman leading off again in this one. Started a catcher this time. Went 2 for 5. Henderson, now back in the 2 spot. Righty on the mound. 1 for 5. Santander, 1 for 3. O'Hearn got to start at first base. Over. Mountcastle started at DH. 1 for 2. 2 walks. Frazier, 1 for 3. Hayes, 1 for 4. 2 RBIs. Said he had the home run. Westberg and Cowser over. I understand that the Orioles want Cowser up here, but he's not hitting. And I think that is part of the reason why they've been playing Mateo in the outfield a little bit more. At some point, like let's say Mullins and or maybe Hicks come back, which is sooner than you might think, Colton Cowser might get sent down. Partly because the guy's just not hitting. It's not that he's not a good player, just not producing. Rutschman triple. Yeah, I mean, I thought it should be like a double with a fielding error, but they have been a little more generous with calls like that. However, Frazier stole the base. 8th of the year. That's a pretty good number for 8. So that's pretty good numbers for a older gentleman in Major League Baseball years. Though he is, he's very thin and in shape and, smart. So it does go back to the experience thing that I was talking about. He doesn't run much, but he knows where to pick his spots because he's been doing this a while. Flaherty got the start. Not as good of a performance as in Toronto, but very nice performance. I mean, I will absolutely take it. Pitched 5 innings, Gotten a lot of jams here, but again, I mentioned Houston Ball Club is very selective on what pitches they go after. Gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks. Isn't terrible. Yes, the whip is high there. Did strike out 8. That's right. Webb. What is this guy's name? Jacob Webb was placed on waivers by the Los Angeles Angels of the Anaheim or something. They're not the California Angels. They're not the Anaheim Angels. They're the Los Angeles Angels. Or the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. However they want to be called. Very confusing. Especially since they were the California Angels my whole childhood. Why he was placed on waivers, not 100% sure, because everybody that has analyzed his numbers, and they mentioned on the broadcast, Dave Johnson was on the broadcast for this series, at least part of this series. Looking at the numbers, like, why did 30-something other teams pass on this guy? Well, I say one part of it is probably money. You know, the worst team in the league, yes, they could use a pitcher like this, but do they want to pay him? Probably not. Some of the other playoff contenders, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't pick him up. Now this performance is going to be an outlier. Like, he's never going to duplicate this again. Pitched 1 full inning, didn't give up a hit, didn't give a run, didn't walk anybody, and he struck out the side. Can you do any better than that? Well, I guess technically you could strike out the side on 9 pitches. He didn't do that. Where is it going to? Webb, 15 pitches. Struck the side out on 15 pitches. The only way to really improve on this outing is doing less pitches, or maybe do it for more innings. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, this happens, right? There are waiver claims late, but for the guy to do this now. What I said with Jack Flaherty, we'll have to see a few more outings to really judge how good this guy is. Now, was playing in the same division as the Astros, so you think the Astros could have figured him out already, but maybe it's the other way around. Maybe he had figured them out already, and that's part of it because he knew the lineup. See now Perez pitched the 7th inning here. Gave up 1 hit, didn't give up a run or a walk, struck out 1. So hopefully Perez can keep stacking outings like this. Looks pretty good now. Fujinami gets the 8th inning. At least to start out, as you can see, 2/3 of an inning. Didn't give up a hit. Gave up 3 runs and 3 walks. So that's what I'm saying. Are Oriole pitchers not throwing strikes, or umpires not calling them strikes? A little bit of both, I think. And that's what I say. And that's why I mentioned, the favoritism side of it. Really looked like a lot of these calls were favoring the Astros. Why? I don't know. 1, you're in Baltimore. What the hell are you favoring the Astros for? 2, the Astros cheated and got caught cheating and got punished for cheating. Why are they getting favored over another team? Shouldn't it be split down the middle? However, but the Orioles don't spend money, so therefore I guess they make less money. And the rest of the league doesn't like it. Otherwise, what is it? A lot of close calls, a lot of calls right on the line. Let's say even the strike zone, pitch on the line, calls a ball. Why didn't you call it a strike? It catches the black edge of the plate. It's supposed to be a strike, but it's called a ball. Why? Oh, well, all right. Well, Bauman comes in after Fujinami. Finishes off the 8th inning and then the game. 1 1/3 inning. Gives up 4 hits, 2 runs. Didn't walk anybody, didn't strike anybody out, which is okay. But, I mean, he did give up some runs, but, the momentum was already going that way. By that time, the game was really over because Houston bullpen is pretty good. All right, last game of the series. Well, the Orioles finally won one, though you can see 1 in the 9th, 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 7th. They were trying to give it away. I don't know. All of a sudden, bullpen can't pitch. Okay. Orioles won this game 5, Astros 4. Rutschman leading off again, DH again. So DH, catcher, DH. Day game after night game makes kind of sense here for him not to catch 2 days in a row when one's a day game, one's a night game. Or, night game, then day game. He doesn't seem to mind, at least offensively, DHing. And I mention that because some hitters, players in general, like being active in the game. And when they have to DH, they don't like it because they don't know what to do with themselves when the team is out in the field. Might be a little different for Rutschman because he can conversate with his other starting pitchers. Might have found something for him to do, maybe. Went 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Henderson, 0 for Santander, 0 for O'Hearn, 1 for 3. McKenna defensive replacement late. Mountcastle 1 for 3, 2 RBIs. Frazier 1 for 3. Hayes 0 for. Arias 1 for 3. McCann 2 for 3, 1 RBI. Well, scroll down, there we go. McCann, O'Hearn, doubles, Arias, triple. See why Teo's getting play in the outfield now. Because you don't want him in the infield because then where does Arias go? Right now it seems like the platoon is between Westberg and Frazier more than anything else. Arias has that third base locked down and Henderson's at shortstop. Mainly because Teo's not hitting. Oh, look at this. 2 caught stealing. McCann, why you running, man? Why you running? Frazier didn't do that good at picking his spot this time. Running too much. Mostly because Mullins isn't here to run at all and Teo's not getting on base to run either. So, trying to push the issue with some other players. Rutschman's getting the hits, but he's not stealing no bases. O'Hearn, he's not going to steal either. Mountcastle, no. So, Hayes is fairly streaky. He was doing very good hitting earlier in the year, kind of in a funk right now. Yes, he had the home run, but other than that, he's kind of in a funk. Dean Kramer goes 7 innings in this one. So, it's not really the starting pitching. It's really not. 6 hits. Yeah, a little high, but that's fine. Gave up 2 runs and walked 2. So, it is a whip over 1, but it's not that much over 1. He struck out 5. Perez got part of the 8th inning, 2/3 of the 8th inning. Did allow a hit, and he did allow a run. You see, it wasn't an earned run because Perez fielding error. I still don't understand why that's not an earned run. He had the fielding error, however. Did strike out 1. Cano had to close out the 8th inning because Perez was getting a little bit up there in pitches. 19. And he pitched the day before the other day. Scroll down. Yeah, he pitched yesterday. He pitched Wednesday. This was Thursday. No, he does give up a hit, but he does get a strikeout. So there's that. Batista. Giving up runs again. Does pitch the full 9th inning. Gives up 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks. I don't know. Part of it is career minor leaguer before this, so he hasn't pitched too much this time of year. Getting to the point where the minor leagues are getting to their playoff season, and he's just not used to it. We got the save. He got the save. We got the win. Getting kind of hairy there. Did have some good defense behind him and the rest of the pitching staff, which you kind of need, right? Like I mentioned, I think the last show, the ball isn't always going to be hit right at somebody. Times the players got to go get the ball and make a good play. So, yes, only 1 win, but in a potential playoff preview, disappointing that didn't go better. Let's go to the article. News, good news, hopefully. Rock Kubatko put this out earlier today, and you can see Orioles reinstate Cedric Mullins. And also, Nick Vespi, left-handed pitcher, is coming back to the bullpen. He's really filling that last spot of the bullpen that does go through lots of changes. Coulomb is now on the injured list. Crable was brought up just as a quick decision to get another arm in there. But with Coulomb out, a lefty, you want another lefty in there because Perez is your only other one. So Vespi's here now. Hicks is very close, supposedly very close behind Mullins within the next 2 to 4 days-ish, maybe. John Meade is also pitching rehab assignments. So he may or may not come back to the rotation. And what would seemingly see as far as, announced starters for the Seattle series, Cole Irvin will get to start Saturday, at least as of right now. So it would appear that the Orioles are going to go to a 6-man rotation. A few of the pitchers are getting pretty up there on their innings. I won't say limit, but career high in innings pitched is a mark that, say, Kramer, Bradish, and Gibson, I want to say. Or is it Grayson Rodriguez? Actually, the 3 of them or the 4 of them really are probably getting real close to their career high. Grayson Rodriguez and Kramer for sure. Bradish did miss some time, but he should be getting up there too. Gibson, well, he has postseason experience, so it's probably not him, but he's not too far away. So, 6-man rotation seems to be implemented, which I think is okay because the last several times we've seen Cole Irvin, he's pitched well. So, hopefully that'll continue. Check the standings out with the not-so-good series. Tampa Bay's still 3 games back. Blue Jays are 7 games back. Red Sox 11. Yankees 12. Yes, I can yell last place Yankees again. Ha! Take that. And as of right now, no other team in the American League has reached 70 wins. The Braves, they're still at 72. They're only one ahead. So even, the Orioles had a bad series, they're still one of only 2 teams with 70 wins. So that's good. All right, let's check out the schedule. Scrolling. Here you go. Okay. All right. As I mentioned in the last show, big road trip, West Coast road trip. Orioles are in Seattle Friday, that's today, Saturday, and Sunday. Tonight's game scheduled for around 10, Saturday's game scheduled around 9:40, and Sunday's game is scheduled around 4 o'clock. Where is Seattle in the standings? Okay, Seattle they got 60 wins, but they're kind of middle of their division there. They do have a few young players. I can't remember the guy's name. One of the guys very competitive in the home run derby out there in Seattle. Looks pretty good. It's a tough series because as far as Seattle goes, it's a huge distance. Now, it's probably worse for the Seattle Mariners because whenever they travel, and they travel for 81 games, it's a long way to go because there's not a lot in the upper west, the northwest. Seattle, and that's really it as far as baseball teams go. So it's not like you can leapfrog from one city to another. It's like a straight shot out there, and it's way out there. The trip hopefully hasn't taken anything out of the Orioles. They should have arrived last night, so they should have a whole day. But we'll see. Hopefully they're over the jet lag and the time difference. But we'll talk about that. At least you and I will talk about that on Monday. That is when my next show will be. Fingers crossed nothing else happens in between now and then. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm the Angry Ryno, and this is Birdland.